questions. Coach, the first question this afternoon from Mike Finn.
Hi, Tom. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Tom, in the preseason press conference, most thing you wanted it was a complete season after last year. But with what's happened with Michigan, what's happened with some teams being affected by this, are you concerned whether there will be a postseason? And if everything that's being done now is correct, or should perhaps this season stop now and allow teams prepare for the postseason?
I don't have an opinion on anything except for let's get to the end. COVID's an uncertain thing, and the way that it can come up and bite you is an uncertain thing because people's opinions on the severity of it vary greatly. It's a really polarizing topic. So we just gonna keep training and competing when we can and when we're set to go, and we'll just keep doing the right thing. Whether we alter course or change the format of getting into the postseason quicker or whatever, hitting a pause during the regular season, I don't know if it really matters. I think you're just gonna have to plow through, and maybe with a little bit of luck, you get to the end. But we got to get to the end.
Well, Tom, can I ask you how many matches, so-called real matches, do your guys need to be ready for a postseason?
I think they're ready when they came out of the womb. And that's how you got to talk to guys, and that's how you prepare them, and that's how you get a funny reaction where they can relax.
Thanks, Tom.
The next question from Chad Leistico.
Hi, Tom. Good to see you. How would you describe to people why it looks so easy for Spencer Lee when we watch him on TV or I guess TV this year, not in person? How does he make it look so easy?
He's just pretty determined on going out and doing what he's going to do. And, the thing that people also got to realize is that he's more diverse in his attacks. It doesn't look like it, but he really is. And his mind is as open as it's ever been, type thing. Like he'll be talking to Terry and it'll be like, hey, if it gets slow out there and I look over and you go cut him, I'm just going to cut him. Just tell me if it's getting slow. So he's maybe just really has a lot of tools at his disposal that he's always had, but maybe he'll rely on them more. Very diverse in his attack. He's always been diverse, but maybe didn't have quite the belief in it. It was just one way he was going to do it. And so that's been definitely awesome to see the growth there. And so why does it look effortless? Well, there's growth. There's no automatic either. I mean, there's no automatic. He's got to keep his edge, and nobody knows that more than him.
Tom, the next question from KJ Pilchard.
Hi, Tom. When Nelson came into the program, how much of a raw commodity was he as a wrestler, and how much is his development based on him doing what he does well and just expanding on that, or just maybe having more of a diverse arsenal?
Raw commodity is probably a good word. The thing is he is as good as he wants to be from where I sit. And the development where maybe you're seeing some things in his past, he's getting past those things, meaning you're going to have to do some things in tough matches to make them go your way. And when those things happen and they start to become a habit, then the gap's going to widen on the score. And that's what you're seeing. And because when the gap widens on the score, you're starting to become more dominant. And a dominant mentality, a dominant wrestler wins the tough matches and the tight matches. He's got good attacks on his feet. And, he's an explosive guy. And he definitely has made progress in the emotional side of things, where he'll keep it together in a crisis situation, and I'm talking about a wrestling crisis. And he comes from pretty doggone good stock with Michelle and Terry Brands, who, have prepared him really his whole life for, crisis situations and real life crisis situations. He's a good kid. He's popular with his teammates, funny guy, and getting better. And that's the main thing, is we just got to keep getting better.
The next question from Cody Goodwin.
Hey, Coach. Just with the news that Michigan won't be here this weekend, I know that was probably an opportunity you guys were looking forward to. Is there a message that you send your team or that you talk to your team about because of what happened up there?
There's a message in the COVID message is that no matter how well you do it, no matter how you do it right, you could get bit. And it's what it is. I mean, it's literally like the flu. You can't. I mean, it's not like you can determine your fate here. The message with Michigan is there's a concerted effort out there by the athletes, rightly so, to advocate for them competing, so stay ready. And most important is we still got a date on the calendar, and Illinois is coming to town, regardless. So we got to be ready to go.
The next question from Chad Leistico.
Circling back to Spencer again. How do you keep him sharp every day? When he's winning these matches 18-0, what do you use as motivating tools every day?
Here's the thing with any, and you could ask any coach this. You operate within a framework, and that framework changes according to the individual athlete's needs. So the communication is always the communication is always on point, and that means that we don't always get it right, but it's not like, it's the same thing every day. And then it gets, we got to worry about it getting stale. I don't know how stale it really gets in our wrestling room ever, when you have the right mindset, because it's continual progress. And he operates with that mentality, that continual progress mentality, since day one, since we started to know him. And, I'm sure that was ingrained in him by Larry and Kathy Lee. So it's not hard, because it doesn't get stale, because you know what? People are gunning for you. And you don't have to look too far to remind yourself that, it's not necessarily a level playing field all the time. I mean, as soon as he gets a takedown, just screaming from the other corners, and even the referee starts screaming, keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal. And he's so good at what he does. I mean, that's the only way you're going to beat him, is you just got to pre-program with conversations that, what he's to the referee or whatever, that you have to pre-program with the referee that it's what he's doing is illegal. And it's not. It's methodical, it's slow, it's in control. There's nothing explosive and dirty and cheap about it. And so you don't have to look too far to remind yourself that there may be some shady business out there to try to unseat you. And that's what they want to do. The Hawkeyes love a winner when we're on the same team, but no one else really likes that winner.
Have you ever thought about moving him up to 133 or anything like that, just for a one-match, kind of one-off type thing?
Well, we'll see what happens, but I think he could probably be a capable fill-in for any weight class. So he's our 25-pounder. He's a spark plug, and even if we don't start first at 25 because of the way the rules are, he's a spark plug. Wherever you hit him in that 10-match sequence in a dual meet, or wherever you get to watch him as a fan on TV in the Big Ten or national tournament, he's a spark plug, and he's wired the right way. You got to love it.
The next question from Mike Finn.
Tom, getting back to Nelson, since he is your nephew and his family, can you share any story at all which you would have remembered him as a child, what it was like that you would have thought someday he might be wrestling for me. But the fact that he actually lives with the brand's name, how he's dealt with that.
I think he has put that in perspective from day one, and I think that was something that the way you're raised, you deal with that. Terry was hands off, surprisingly so, and that surprises people, but it doesn't surprise me. We want individuals in our program, and Nelson's his own man, and he was raised like you raise your kids. He wasn't raised to be a champion on the mat. He was raised to be a champion in life, and he chose wrestling. The story that I remember is there was a ruckus in the backyard with his cousins, and his nose was bleeding, and he got thumped pretty good. But I just remember him, he was sitting out away, hanging his nose away from his chest so it wouldn't bleed on his leg or his chest or whatever. And he was kind of laughing and giggling. And I saw it. He got hit hard. And he was just kind of laughing like, how do I stop the bleeding? And it had happened with his cousins in a competition in the backyard. And yeah, he was just pretty much, kind of a chuckle, like, how do I get this nose to stop bleeding? And, that's a pretty good sign that you got somebody that can deal with, a little owie or a little bit of discomfort or pain or whatever. So there's a funny story for you.
Thanks, Tom.
Two more questions. The first from Cody Goodwin, then we'll finish with Mike Kalas. Cody, go ahead.
Coach, kind of a two-parter for you. One, is there any chance with Nelson wrestling the way he is that we could see Abe Assad wrestle some of those extra matches? And then I'll have a quick follow-up.
Abe Assad is definitely critical to our program for sure. There's things going on there that we don't talk about. And when it's time for him to be on the mat, he'll be on the mat. Absolutely, 100%. Our team is best with Abe Assad in the mix. Make no mistake about that.
Definitely. Then the quick follow I had on that was just, when you have a guy like that and in a situation like this where you have two capable wrestlers, what's the message to the second guy when, Nelson's wrestling the way he is? What's the message to Abe to keep him ready, make sure he stays ready?
The message is the same as it's been since I came to school here, and actually since I wrestled for Sheldon 5th grade club team. That's be ready. And know your role. Be ready at any time you could get called to the mat. If you're eating popcorn and playing, checkers in the back room getting ready for your match, all of a sudden your name's called. You better, when you walk out in that mat, you better be ready to go. Or Tetris or whatever it is. And he has to be ready to go. And, we talk about it all the time. And there's no ambiguity or no miscommunication there. And Abe Assad has done that well, and he's doing what he's supposed to be doing right now to get back on the mat very well as well. So there's no issues there.
Final question for Tom Brands from Mike Kalas.
Moments ago, you were talking about Nelson. You said that you want individuals. Some of us deal with other sports where we don't hear that too often, but what does it mean to you, and why do you want individuals?
I mean, it's simple to me because individuality is accountability. When you're an individual and you're doing the things that you know are right on your own, there's power in that. And to have to be told to do something at this age when you've been recruited, when the communication has been there from day one and you had a choice of where you're going to go to school, that's a waste of time for everybody. And so, specifically with Nelson, that hasn't been an issue. He's his own man. He said it. He's been saying it for a long time. Yeah, his last name's Brandt. So what? He chose the sport of wrestling. He's an individual. He's a hard worker. He's a good kid. He's God-centered and all the things that you want. And so that's what I mean by we want individuals. We want guys that are going to do it their own way, and they're going to do it right. And when things unravel a little bit, excuse me? And when things unravel there a little bit, you know what an individual does? He looks in the mirror and he says, that's the guy that got me in trouble, and that's the guy that's got to get me out. And our whole team is wired pretty much that way. We love it. We love it. It's a blast in there. It's a blast in there to have accountable guys.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Awesome. Thanks. Rock and roll.